Okay, so welcome all the that are joining us for week number 5, 5, just 5, 5 out of 6. So we've got this week and next week to go. Tonight's we're going to be talking about chapters 9 and chapter 10 of Dr. A's ebook, and as you can tell, tonight is Hawaiian theme. So you can see that a lot of folks are dressed up with their Hawaiian themes. I want to introduce the other half of Crave Optimal Health, David Bush. David Bush, why don't you say hi to the gang?
Hi to the gang. Welcome to our fun shop. We like to have some fun, and we're not about shopping tonight. We're about learning how to live a healthier lifestyle. So we hope that you have great takeaways, and while we're dressed up to have some fun, we're all about getting healthier and learning how to do so in a fun way.
Exactly it. So for those of you that are joining us for the first time, we're going to start off with our Who Wants to Be Healthier? It's the game show that helps you to get healthier, and we have a lot of fun with that. And then we're going to have Carrie Greenwald. She's going to be joining us to do the takeaways from chapter 9. And then we're going to have Steve Young, and he's going to be covering chapter 10 tonight. And then at the top of the hour, we're going to have our group discussion where we all get to join in and comment on the content for the week. For those of you that are just joining us, we're actually going through Dr. A's ebook, and you can find that for free. Actually, Dave usually charges $5, but this week I'm going to go ahead and give it to you guys for free. And you can go to, yeah, I know.
Ding, 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 ding. Blue light special.
That's right. So you can go to tsfldownload.com and you can download your own personal copy of Dr. A's Stop, Challenge, and Choose. And so why don't you, Dave, give us some instructions about how we run the game show while I bring up the technology.
Yeah, you bet. So some of you have played before. For those of you that are just coming on for the first time, we use a little chat feature down there in the bottom of most of your screen. There's a button that you can click. If you have the iPad or Android device, you may have to kind of click around a little bit to find the chat feature. But what we do is we go through questions, and we'll have 3 questions from each individual chapter. And all we do is we just basically kind of give you the go-ahead to put in your answer once the question is shown and the answers, the multiple choice answers are provided. You can basically put the number of the question and your answer, A, B, or C, and you'll get a chance to participate in our fun winnings and big prizes. And Craig, tell them what they win if they get the correct answer.
You get the respect of all the people on this webinar, this fun shop, and that's a lot. That's worth a lot nowadays.
Yes, each one of the questions is worth 1,500 points, and if you get 6,000 points, you win absolutely nothing, but you do get a chance to get lots of recognition from Craig. You can get a big plaque on his wall recognizing the fact that you participated.
That's right.
So everybody's throwing out there and sharing some ideas about where they're from, and so I am from Hawaii. If you do spell Hawaii correctly, you get extra points tonight.
It's so hard to spell. Spellcheck kept telling me I was spelling it wrong.
Yeah, Hawaiian. Yeah, that is definitely your Achilles heel, is writing out the word Hawaiian.
Yeah.
But we're glad that you're here tonight. Tonight's chapters are going to be based on chapter 9 and 10, and we're going to get all the good details on how to become bulletproof and reducing stress in your life, and also getting a chance to learn more about creating that support bubble. Doesn't that sound fun, Craig?
A support bubble. I love bubbles.
I was going to have some big chewing gum like a tourist would have, but I don't have that on me right now.
Yeah, that's okay. All right, so let's get some of these high-powered graphics and multimedia that we paid top dollar for. And let's see. Here's the sound effect. All right, so we have the first question comes from chapter 9 in Dr. A's book. And so you guys want to have your chat window up. And like Dave said, you want to type in 1. So you can, this is question number 1. So you can put in 1, and then you're going to be A, B, or C, and go. So I'll read off the question. And then as soon as I read the third answer, you guys can chime in and then unmute yourself and then give us your answer. So the first question is, according to a survey by Harris Interactive, what do 8 out of 10 people say they are stressed about? Is it A, Christmas, B, their jobs, or C, geese?
All right, Claudia and Richard are up first. Claudia and Richard, unmute yourself. You get the first chance of answering this trick question. I think they're just getting the sand out of their shorts. They'll be here in a minute.
Okay.
Claudia and Richard, have you figured out how to unmute yourself? 3, 2, 1. Okay, Linda Benson, you're up next. Linda Benson, calling once.
Sorry,
twice.
Oh, I gotta be quick. I'm not quick. I said B, their jobs, but I liked C.
Okay.
But I said B,
Yes.
their jobs.
That's good. That's
B
good.
Was the
Good,
answer.
good second answer.
Yep.
Nice.
Nicely done. So,
Well, Linda Benson, you have won 2 beautiful nights and 1 sensuous day at the beautiful Crave Optimal Health Hotel. And,
Yes.
which is under construction, and it'll be ready sometime.
Count me in. I'm there.
Okay.
I'll bring some friends.
Yeah, exactly. So the first question is over. So now we want to move on to question number 2.
Here we go.
What can aid in creating less stress in your life? Is it success? Is it fulfillment? Or is it both A and B?
Wow, stumper of a question. Now we come in. Claudia and Richard finally chimed in. A lone poll response, Craig. So Claudia and Richard, you have the opportunity to answer it and take home the big money.
And they are unmuted, so if they're not working, it's something to do with their technology. And so maybe you could just read off their answer for them.
All right, Linda Vogel is going to step in for them and answer this question because I know Linda is feeling very confident, but it's a different answer than Claudia and Richard had. So Linda, what do you got for us?
I had chose B, fulfillment. And
Craig, what's the answer to this question?
Pardon me?
Oh, Linda, you were close, but it's actually A and B. Trick question by Krager.
Actually, I'm not sure about that being correct. I think it was actually B. When I went back to the book and checked it, I think B actually was the answer.
Oh my goodness. Well, that is going to go to the judges, and the judges say, you got it, Linda. Congratulations, and you just won 2,000 points.
Yep.
All right.
And so we'll talk about that question specifically in the review because there's Dr. A talks about that in his book as being he chooses fulfillment for a reason. So we will come back to that question in the after show. So moving on to question number 3. Which of the following is a habit of disease that can cause stress? Is it reading a book? Is it checking emails at night? Or is it spending time with the family?
All right. Well, I'm going to give it to Claudia and Richard this time. They're going to have to do some hand gesture. But they have been hot on the dial here, so we're going to give them. Oh, look little circle and a star, number 2, which is checking emails at night. Craig, is that correct? Survey says.
Yeah.
There they go. Nice. They're on the board.
On the board.
So we got Linda, and Claudia and Richard vying for first place, all tied at the turn of the corner going into chapter 10.
Yep, exactly. All right, so chapter 10, folks. To start creating a social environment of health, you should have the health cop arrest your unhealthy friends and family. Have a plan for handling the challenging situations in your life. Build an online friends and new support circle of friends from scratch.
All right, so we're going to go with Heidi. Heidi, you're up.
B.
B. Heidi
B.
says B. And that is correct.
Woo!
That's nice work, Heidi. I am a little offended that the health cop was not noted in this particular answer.
I don't know if you guys know this.
I don't need to see that again.
Yeah, that's one of David's alter egos. All right, so fifth question. When building your support system and working on improving your physical surroundings, it is best to eat all of the junk food before you begin your health plan. Eat in dim areas and make sure you have the TV on for distraction. Or is it place motivating notes to remind yourself and others of your goals?
Wow, Claudia and Richard on the fast on the clicker. They're going to get their opportunity to pull ahead, Craig. Claudia and Richard, we're going to have to scan over to see your interpretive dance of your. You got to go the other way. There you go, Richard. All right, so Richard says C. Is that the right answer?
Yes, C is.
Nice. Good work.
Okay.
Oh, now they're giving high fives, making out. This is awkward. No.
Move on to question 6. Quick, move on.
Moving on.
Okay, so we've
All
got
right, question 6.
Yep.
Come on, Gina.
Which of the following is a habit of health loop regarding craving interactions? Is it meet friends for drinks at a bar, rewarded with social interaction? Is it meet friends at the park for a walk, rewarded with social interaction? Or is it C, compete in a fight club, rewarded with social interaction and possible imprisonment, bodily harm, hospitalization, and potential death?
Wow, this might take a little while. A little bit of suspense, but Heidi's going to get a chance to tie for the championship. Heidi, what is the answer?
B, meet your friends at a park.
Nice. Well, Craig, I'm thinking that we're going to need to have a throwdown and actually have a fight club between Claudia and Heidi. What do you think?
I think it sounds good. Good
Should we
stuff.
call it a tie and give them both gift certificates?
I think we should go ahead and give, we should just give first place 200% of what we normally give them. How does that sound?
All right. So there's 2,000 million pesos coming back to Claudia and to Heidi to split and spend whenever they're out of the country.
That's right. That's right. Okay, so thank you all that played, and hopefully that was interactive and entertaining. We're going to turn it over. Actually, I'm going to introduce Carrie, and she's going to be covering Chapter 9. By the way, each week our health coaches that prepare questions for us, or that that are going to be reviewing the chapters, actually the ones that prepared the questions. So thank you guys, both Steve and Carrie, for those. This is a before and reasonably current photo of Carrie Greenwald, and it may be more than 62 pounds, but as of last Thursday, it was 62. Or is it still 62?
Yeah, it's still 62.
Okay, all right. So there's a before and after picture of her, and I'll let her get into her story. But Carrie's been a regular attendee of the Tuesday night huddles. We've been doing these since January, and that's when I first got introduced to her. And so she's been involved on one of my challenge teams pretty much throughout, and is really been just an awesome. It's been fun to see her grow. So I'll let her tell you her story, as well as give us a presentation and review of Chapter 9. So welcome, Carrie.
Yeah. So I started in January, and I remember when I started, Craig had asked me how much weight I needed to lose, and my reaction was, oh, I think I could lose about 10. And now 62 pounds later, and I'm doing good. And I was pretty much living like a zombie. I mean, I was just going through life and then not really living. And then in July, I got my driver's license, which I've been working on for 10 years because I've been working on my mind and haven't been depressed. Well, less depression. And so I've been just doing that and just getting out into the world and talking to people now. And I went to a wedding and they were like, what has happened? You just seem so happy now. And it's like, yeah, I am. I got that. And then a couple months ago, I became a health coach too, to help with that. So that's my story so far.
Yeah.
And for Chapter 9 with the healthy mind, about stress, it used to actually have a purpose with the fight or flight. And now, though, if you have it for long bouts, it can lead to other health complications like anxiety and depression and health disease and memory impairment. And so it's kind of hard to change your life but you just got to figure out what is causing your stress and then go about that in a way. 8 out of 10 people, like the question said, are stressed about their jobs. And it's kind of hard to, think about that if it's something that you need to change but sometimes to be happy, you got to figure out a plan, so, and see, this is where the question is I thought a combination of fulfillment and success, like the picture, was the answer, so that was my fault when I was making my questions. Because I figured even if you like your job but you have financial problems, and you can't do all the stuff you want, then you're going to get depressed and upset about that. And even if you don't want to change your job, if that's what's doing it, you can just look into finding different hobbies or going for walks or even just spending time with your family and friends and just getting off that. And one of the biggest problems, though, is that we're always connected online, and a lot of people check their emails before bed and everything. So, and that can lead you to not sleep and then wake up upset because you're stressed because you didn't sleep. And so one of the things that you can do about that is, instead of checking your email, replace that with a different habit, like reading a book or just, spending time with family or any of that, to get that to not be a habit anymore, where it's the same situation but different end outcomes.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's
awesome. Well, thank you, Carrie. That's great. I'm going to toss this out to all of the folks that are joining us tonight, and really talk about how our careers are one. What's the difference about success and fulfillment, and kind of how success isn't always necessary. Fulfillment is the primary one. So do you guys have any conversation around the chapter and around those two particular areas? Who wants to jump in there? Give us a little bit. No
I'm
clue.
kind of curious what Carrie has done in her own personal life as it relates to the holidays around stress. Is there anything that you've been, able to overcome, or that you're beginning to use as the holiday season kind of picks up speed?
Well, I do the breathing because I when I start to get stressed out at work and everything, and it's gotten better though this year because I'm not stress eating like I used to, and so that has helped me a lot. But yeah, it's
What's an example of the breathing you do? I mean, if you could give an example of it, what would
just like
that is?
when I start to get stressed out, just counting to 10 and while concentrating on my breathing and doing that so that I actually calm down and not just work myself farther around.
That's one of the things that Carrie and I have worked on. I'm her health coach, and so we work on. It's sort of like building your brain biceps is a kind of a conversation, where you have the ability to strengthen your brain and handle stressful situations. And one of the simple, instead of having a dumbbell, you actually, for what your brain to handle stress is, you actually will breathe. The breathing is the technique that actually is like weightlifting for your brain, and it allows your mind to be able to cope and deal with stress and not get distressed or have it kind of take you down. And so doing breathing techniques when you're not stressed, like when you wake up in the morning, you're getting ready, you just kind of stop and have some quiet time, and some time out during the day, twice a day, 3 to 5 breaths. And then other times you can do it is when you anticipate a stressful situation coming down. It will literally, that simple technique can be just a life changer. It really does. And over time, your brain will build the ability to be able to handle when the stressful storms in life come along, and you can just weather those much easier. What I find so amazing about Carrie's story is she's 28 years old and didn't have a driver's license, and joining this club here and joining our challenge and just starting to do something, she has changed in so many ways. And the first time she went through it, she wasn't a client, she just joined the challenge. The next challenge came along and she got the Habits of Health books. The next challenge came along and she became a full client. And then the next challenge came around and she actually went through our health coach training program. And so it was this progression. As she was continuing to get healthy, she was continuing to want more in her life. And one day, I remember it was funny because I said, how did you do on your homework this week? What did you get done? And she goes, it was the first week she hadn't read anything. And I said, well, so what happened? And she goes, I have my driver's license. I've been driving all over the place. And I was like, you know what? That is such an awesome story. So,
It is.
she told me this last week. It was
great.
This is one of the first years for Christmas. She works at the mall, and her parents would drive her to the mall. And so she's able to shop now wherever she wants to shop because she drives now. And so the reason why I tell you that story and why it's so impactful to me is that the habits, that had little to do with weight loss. But weight loss was part of that story. But it was because she was actually focusing on healthy living, not just on how much the scale said. And so I just want to, I'm just really proud of you. And I'm so thrilled that I've had an opportunity to get to know you and watch you change and grow. It's really been great. Yep. All right, guys. Well, let's get Steve. Let me share the screen, and we'll get Steve on the board here. And I'll have Dave Bush introduce Steve to cover chapter 10.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited to get a chance to present to you guys this great friend of mine and just one of our top leaders in our health coaching business. Steve was a person that went to college, the same college that I went to, played football for the same school, and he was an underclassman. I oftentimes say that I paved the way for his future success in football. But anyway, totally different story. But Steve was a leader in the physical therapy world and had a lot of influence, and a mutual friend had introduced us and said that the two of you ought to do some business together. And I knocked on Steve's door to see if he'd be open to learn more about this health coaching program, but he was very successful in his own right and working with nutrition and things of that nature. And so he was kind of a hard nut to crack, but he was open to being coachable, and we started working together. And then he just took off and started inspiring a lot of people to get healthier, got healthier himself, and here he is to tell his story. Welcome, Steve.
Hey, thanks, Dave, for the introduction. And the story I tell if I introduce Dave is I had some major shoes to fill, but it was to clean the place up. It wasn't necessarily to keep the legend going. It's like, finally, somebody's in here to take care of this joint. So, no, I appreciate Dave, all his support and his time with me has been great, and his persistence in our friendship and his development for me as a business person, as well as just a good health coach that empathetically cares moving people forward to their next level and whatever it is that they want to do. And Craig, thanks for hosting again and cleaning up my questions. I gave Craig about 6 paragraphs worth of questions tonight, so he cleaned them up really nice. But chapter 10 really is about two main take-home points for me. And number one, clean up your physical environment. If you're going to build a support system around you, you've got to put yourself in good environments. You got to kind of have a clean environment in your house. If I've got 3 rascals, as you saw there, and we're doing a whole bunch of Oreos and stuff like that for them, then I'm going to be in a big trouble. So we hide those. If we have treats, they have treats. They're suckers enough to know that their treat is like a Tootsie Roll. So we get a treat after dinner, and it's like, you haven't been real good this week. No, we clean it up a little bit, but we have to do a good job of keeping stuff out of the house. Otherwise, I'll tear into it. And my biggest vice is chips and cheese and a couple beers. And I could do that a couple nights in a row, and then I'll be right back into the habits of disease loop. So starting with your physical environment, keeping it nice and clean for yourself. Dr. A hints a little bit at other stuff he covers in his other books, but, having clean air, having a safe environment, avoid tripping hazards, buckle up. That's a good one. A lot of people know to buckle up, but make sure you buckle up every time. That's one thing. It's not in the ebook, but it's something Dr. A talks about for prolonging your life. So that's one thing. But the bigger thing that spoke to me in this one is the craving loop on relational beings. We're relational beings. And the 2 examples were great of, hey, I'm craving interaction. I can go meet at the bar for drinks with my friends. I'm rewarded with that fellowship. And I looked at that picture and really had a hard look of Dave's introduction with football is really good, because that was the environment I lived in. I would spend hours on the field or in the weight room or in the film room or in the training room with these guys. And when it was all said and done and you don't have much time, it's kind of like, well, what's common? Well, let's go party. We've been, training so hard. Let's do this. And pretty soon you have this loop of, what are we doing this summer? When do we get together? And we get together and it'd be this great canoe trip, and it's full of beer and chips and pop and beer and more beer and steaks, and we just eat and drink. And then when you go away from that, you're craving that interaction around your home, and it's like, hey, who can I call to go out for drinks? And that's a loop that gets established at a college level for most people, and then they go into their regular life, and it's an after work thing, and then it's a when the kids go to bed thing, and then it's your night to go out or my night to go out, and it's a disease loop. So craving that, realizing that what you're craving really isn't the bar, it's the interaction with people. That was the bigger take-home message for me. And the other thing that really spoke to me is this: if we're going to stay healthy, we've got to promote health. We got to tell people we're getting healthy. We've got to encourage others to it. And that speaks of the ripple effect that we as health champions or health coaches play out. That's how actually we're going to get America healthy, by referring people to our health coaches or becoming health coaches and referring them to each other or ourselves. And the bigger thing is just really, if you want to have fruit around you that's worth growing, then you got to have seeds that are worth sowing. So if you want to be encouraged and have a support system that feeds you, then you got to feed it right there first and be the leader. And sometimes that's the hard thing to do. For me to step away from some of my really close college athlete friends and say I'm not drinking and be that guy that night. It took some courage to do that right away. In fact, I used to fill my beer can with water, and I'd give them another beer, and I'd say, hey, I'm keeping up. And I'd go get 2 more and bring some more water in there. And, just kind of a trickery, but now I just am blunt with them. And how I've applied this in my life recently is I've invited a group of men into the place I lease space from, and therapy and performance, and we train each other at 5 a.m. We're up in the morning, and we're kind of got this slow we're all older, so the slow locomotive train that's going, and then we pick up the pace and we work out pretty hard. Dave even joined us one Friday morning. It was awesome. And we also cover books that speak to us as men, and we try to, help each other grow in that mental, spiritual aspect of our health. And, in the holiday season when it's snowing in South Dakota, I'm hoping to amass some kind of encouragement that we actually just grab shovels and we'll go shovel some people's driveways. And it's like, what'd you do that for? It's like, well, we wanted to work out. We also wanted to help you a little bit. So that's what healthy people do. And so hopefully that speaks to some of you if you didn't get a chance to read it in depth. But the big thing for me was, build your support system, but your support system is America. So you better start small and let it grow. I always say self, family, those around, home, neighborhood, then your town. That's how the health movement's going to go down. So hopefully that helped a little bit.
Awesome.
That sounded like a poem or something. I love that last part. Nice clothes, Mr. Young.
I usually it's sometimes a disease, Craig. I start rhyming and it's like I gotta shut it off.
That was impressive.
Dave always asks me to pick it up a little bit, so there's a little bit of a slam poetry in there. But
can you give us an interpretive dance of what's on your whiteboard behind you?
Yeah, we got Hawaiian themed. So we've got the ocean in the middle. There's kind of a little grassy knoll. And then you got some lava rocks with some palm trees, and then we're watching a big explosion because that's just kind of cool things that happen out in Hawaii and the islands, the volcano there.
Is that Habits of Health Mountains ready to explode?
I think it is. I think the highway is now just a kind of an airdrop. We're just taking planes to it, and we're just dropping people in it.
Nice.
Sweet.
So at this point here, let's kind of have a little discussion about those kinds of things. I'm sure I'd love to hear one of you guys, because I know that some of you, when you initially started this, didn't realize how much getting healthy would affect your life, and specifically the social aspect of being healthy. And the friendship aspect of being healthy. Because what if you choose to get healthy and your friends don't? What then? I mean, for reals. Like, what if your spouse says, ain't going there? I mean, this is real world kind of stuff here. And in the beginning, Steve had a tactic where he could still be with his drinking buddies, and they were all drinking. He was just drinking H2O. Right? And then as his courage came along, he was able to say, no, not me, And I know stories of people that had actually had to kind of say goodbye to some people, and that they've been quote unquote friends with for years, that just were not willing to be supportive. If you're not going to be unhealthy with me, we can't be friends anymore. So why don't you unmute and let's talk about that a little bit, because I think that's some real world stuff that we can all benefit from the conversation.
I'll jump in if that's okay.
Yeah. Hey, Claudia, if you guys can call in, click on where it says audio in the bottom corner, and then switch to the call-in number. And that way we'll be able to hear you guys. Go ahead, Linda.
Oh, well, Steve, I really, really appreciate what you shared, and just being candid about the struggle of how you would put water in the beer can first. And then, like, I used to do that. I would hide my wrappers. I'd go in the corner and unwrap it, because those meal replacement wrappers make a lot of noise when you open them. I don't know if anybody else has noticed that, but it's almost like running through the mall and screaming, "Don't look at me, I'm naked."
Yeah.
Not that anybody else would do that, but everybody's gonna look, right? And I swear those.
Yeah. Well, imagine
had
when you
to.
go to health coach, like a health coach convention where we're all training, and like about every 3 hours, there's this crackling wind crossing the land.
Yeah, and it's almost like everybody's like looking at you and like, what are you doing? Why are you doing that? You know, but I know for myself, having my husband on board has been huge because he'll challenge me and he'll say, "You think you want a cookie? Go back in 10 minutes. Give yourself 10 minutes, and I'm the health coach in the family." It just goes to show I need community. I need structure. Sorry. And I've had clients who really struggle with people coming in almost and sabotaging is the word Craig has used with me and Jay, sabotaging your attempt to get healthy. And even I was just talking to a gal today and she said her husband said, "I don't think you should start getting healthy this time of year. You should just have fun." And it's almost like people's idea of having fun is overdoing it and then letting themselves go, and which is code, I think, for like, you know, having a food coma at the end of every party and feeling gross. So I don't know. I know that's community's huge, positive and negative, and it's some people you'll affect positively, and some people you might have to put up some boundaries. But that's been true for me and Jay too.
Excellent.
I have a quick story to comment on that. Thanks for the encouragement there, Linda. And one of my health coaches started her first client, and he was in an environment where, I mean, a couple pops, sugars, candies, everything every day. And he started to do this plan, this health coaching plan and this program. And after about the first 2 weeks, his staff, his coworkers, were bringing him pops and setting it on his desk. Every time he'd leave his desk, they'd put Mountain Dew or Coke there. They'd put cookies there, and really got to almost a harassment level of they didn't want him to do this because it was a slap in the face of what they were doing. And when people tell you or tell a client of yours, stop losing weight, you've lost enough weight. One of my favorite responses is from another coach that commented, or he spoke, I think last week, Todd Nicholson. He says, "I haven't lost weight in 2 years," you know? And that's just one of those things that people think that we get so skinny that compared to society, we're sick or cancerous or something. And it's the new normal to be unhealthy when we're actually healthy. So those are tough. Those social environments get really tough. And I think having a great plan and having a support system helps.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. Let's see, Claudia and Richard, are you guys live?
Yes. Yeah, we are live.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Can you hear us this time?
Yep, you're on.
Okay, great. Well, one of the things that has been just great this year is for the first time in like forever, I'm totally enjoying dancing and feeling good, not hurting, and just feeling light on my feet. And we've had a great time. We've been to a bunch of weddings. We've been to a bunch of other events that have dancing, and we've just been having so much fun with that. And that's been wonderful. One of the things that I think was brought out last week was the point of for every 1 pound you lose, it's 4 pounds of weight off of your feet. Well, the last 10 pounds that I went down was what made that difference. It was huge. So that's been really cool. And I'm finding that more people that are very interested in health are being attracted into our friend circle or my friend circle, which is kind of fun. And it was interesting today, a person who's leaving next week to go to Florida and wants to wait till she comes back, but she said, "I want to be you." And I'm like, okay, that's the second time I've heard you say that. And then I just started a conversation about being a health coach with her. So that was kind of cool. She's a person who doesn't have to lose any weight whatsoever. She's just interested in health. She's interested in making a difference for people. So that was pretty cool. I've also found that there are some people that are kind of fading out of the friend circle. Not that I want them to necessarily leave the friend circle. It's just that maybe they feel a little less comfortable. Maybe the conversation isn't what they're most comfortable with, which is unfortunate, and we've not really gotten the thing about not, that we're losing too much weight, but I certainly have clients that have gotten that, and they haven't been losing too much weight, but the people they know are feeling it.
Claudia, I want to speak to that a little bit because, and this is something, if you struggle, who here was told you're getting too skinny or you've lost too much weight? Yeah, right? Yep. And so I wonder what kind of tool, are they getting you in a body fat measuring machine, or do they actually know how much you weigh, or they know what the BMI chart says? No, what are they using to tell you that? It's these things, these eyeballs, in Spanish, these ojos, right? I think that's what they're called. Anyway, and what happens is, imagine how spending your time on planet Earth in this culture when 70% of people are either overweight or obese. Do our eyes become uncalibrated or recalibrated to the norm? I say that they do. And so when you start looking different than the norm, people say you look too thin. And I'll tell you what, my response to that is simply this: you just don't know what healthy looks like, because everywhere you look, you see unhealthy. And so you'll get used to it. I just told them you'll get used to it. And you know what? It's been 4.5 years now, and after about the first 6-8 months, I stopped hearing it because their eyes became recalibrated to the new Craig. And now I tell people I was overweight, and they're like, "No, you weren't." And I show them the picture, and they're like, "Ooh." And then they're not sure what to say, because it's like, "Oh yeah, yes, you were fat," but they don't want to say that, so they're kind of in this catch-22. But and so anyway, that's the reality, is that people's tool that they use to judge healthiness is their eyes, and eyes are a terrible thing to when they're not calibrated. So who else has comments or stories?
Let's make sure we mute whoever's that background noise. I don't know if anybody else is hearing that. But.
Oh, it's Claudia. Sorry. Yep, I got him.
Can I jump on real quick about that, Craig?
Oh, sorry. No, you can't talk anymore. No. Yes, of course you can.
Dave Bush, see what I put up with?
I'm just hassling her, Karen. That was just for your sake, by the way.
Karen appreciates it. I wondered if anybody else here on the group tonight has ever either judged somebody else by your own body weight and how someone else losing weight can actually make you feel self-conscious, or vice versa. Has you getting to a healthy weight do you feel like ever made somebody else kind of put you down for what you're doing because they are suddenly aware of where they're at? Can anybody else speak to that or have experiences with that?
Sandy or Linda, do you guys have anything to speak there? A couple Lindas we have here.
I've definitely had experience with it. I don't know so much. I pretty much have been had a weight problem since I was a teenager, and I don't think so much that I really judged people about weight because I was so self-conscious. But I do know that me on my journey, I've been told a lot. I mean, I spent a lot of years in a group called TOPS for taking off pounds sensibly, and I can't tell you how many of those women who are like 40 to 50 to 60 plus pounds overweight tell me every time they see me. And I still have about 20, I think I'm about 25 pounds till I reach my healthy BMI. But oh my gosh, how much more do you have to lose? You're too thin already. And it's just, it's crazy. One of the experiences that I had that just blew my mind was we were out to dinner with some friends, and this couple they were morbidly obese, and until recently they've had gastric bypass surgery. But we went out to dinner to a place, and I was on program, and they wanted to go get ice cream afterwards. And I didn't say anything. I didn't have any judgment about it because I know what that's like. I was the leader of the pack back before, so I would have been gung-ho for that. And we're just walking to the ice cream place, and the husband just looked at me and he goes, and you know what? You're just going to have to suck it up because we don't care. And I was just like, holy smokes, that's fine with me. But yeah, it was really just kind of offensive, and I was just walking along. So I think it just makes people think about themselves and question why they're not doing something.
Yeah.
I like the phrase, hurt people hurt people. And, when you're overweight and out of shape and you've struggled and you failed and you don't have the hope and health and happiness that somebody else does, you can be frustrated, not at them, but at yourself, that it just comes through as being frustrated at them. And so have you ever had a child that you tried to wake up in the middle of the night or try to get them to move down to their bed? The person that's asleep can be kind of, ornery because they're still half asleep. So I've just looked at it as most of these people are just sleepwalking and sleep talking. And so, whether or not this is the right time for them is not for me. It's just a matter of what of them.
I will tell you, thanks for everybody that shared. And one of the things that's interesting, at first, you might have most of your friends that are unhealthy. And so it's kind of like swimming upstream. And really all you have is your health coach. You have things like this. That's why by the way, guys, in case you haven't noticed it, we go to a lot of effort and really thousands of dollars of production. I mean, look at that hat and those glasses Dave's wearing, first of all. But besides that, there's a lot of hours that go into producing this workshop, but we do it because we're trying to create a micro environment. We have this little community here that if we hang out together and we keep showing up, eventually we're going to go from being the only guy in our sphere of influence that's healthy. After a couple of years, I'll tell you what, this is what's happened to me. I've been working this program for 5 years, and it's now more my lifestyle than it is a program. It's a strategy for life. And now almost all of my friends are healthy, along with my family. And so now there's this pull. When we get together, there's this positive, healthy pull that kind of sucks us along. So if one of us is lagging behind, they kind of get sucked back into the health pack. Whereas at the beginning, it was very difficult. It would kind of suck you back into the unhealthy pack. And so I want to give you a nice word of encouragement. Keep going. Stick around. You're going to rub off on the people around you, and eventually they're going to say, why not me? And they're going to join you. And so I just want to give you guys some encouragement. And then the other piece of encouragement too, and when things get really rough, look in the mirror and say, nicely done. How about that? If everything else is going crazy, just go look at yourself in the mirror and say, yep, that's real. I did it. I'm there. I'm living it. And there was moments in my life, I know, where things were really tough. And the only thing I had to do was I had to look in the mirror and see the tangibleness. And I said, you're no longer that fat guy that you used to be. You're that healthy guy. This is working. You can do this. Keep it up. And so anyway, I just want to give you that encouragement. I know that we have some guests on tonight, and I believe that could be, I'm not sure who all's a guest. I know that Karen is a guest of this new thing, and I think Elise is a guest as well. And so, Karen, would you mind unmuting and just give us where you're from and just a little brief thing of how you got here? And then we'll go to Elise next.
Sure. I am Linda's twin sister, and
oh my goodness, I've been seeing double the whole night.
Yeah.
I thought it was these glasses. This is crazy.
No. And my journey started. I was kind of the heckler when Linda started losing weight because she started her program December 1st. Evan, Can you stop? Yeah. Sorry. My husband's moving something. She and her husband started their weight loss program December 1st, which for me was like, that's the worst time of year for you to start a diet. You're not participating in family functions and blah, blah, blah. And took me a couple months, but saw results and was really proud of her. And I felt reasonably healthy, but felt like I did have about 10 pounds to lose. And when Linda became a health coach, I wanted to support her in that and be her first client. So I did, and I ended up losing about 20 pounds. And I got a lot of the comments that you guys were talking about, which is, geez, you're so skinny. Where are you disappearing to? Are you eating anything anymore? And I just tried to talk a lot about the program and making healthy choices and stuff like that. But I transitioned off the program and then actually found out that I was pregnant. So that's been an interesting journey, and trying to stay healthy and make healthy choices while feeling not so great and tired. But I think I have, because of the time I did spend on the program, I have good tools to help me stay healthy in this new season. And I know I have Linda to thanks, David. I have Linda to talk to about just keeping up the healthy habits and not listening to the eating for two. That is a lie from the pit of culture. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
It's interesting when you said, Karen, really in the mindset, you transition from the 5-in-1 to our optimization program, rather than, because and this is something that we all do, is we think the 5-in-1 was the program, and it is the part of the program where you see the most acute changes, but our program is just phases, and the optimization program, which is where you're at now, can go on. It can just get better and better and fine tuned.
Yeah.
And the other nice thing about it is you realize that you have a health coach for life. Not only do you have a sister, but you gained like this really cool health coach that looks a lot. So, anyway, so I think those are some of the neat parts of our program, and it's a mindset. I'm never going to stop doing this program, because I think this program is called Feeling Awesome Every Day. I get to wake up in my body, I get to go to sleep in my body, and I got to live in my body all the time. And so build that body that is the one you want, and figure out what that is, and you can do that. So anyway, I just want to encourage that. It's going to be interesting, because you can probably have one of the healthiest pregnancies you've ever had by having a health coach and working to control your blood sugars through the pregnancy. And let's not gain any more pounds than healthily necessary.
Right.
And then we have a nursing mothers program. So we're just going to keep modifying, not we, but you and Linda will just keep working your health. So,
and that's what's so encouraging to me is, and what was Linda's motivation is, I don't have to be that overweight mom after I have kids. I can be the healthy mom. And I have great tools and a great coach to help me stay that way. So
yeah, awesome. Thanks for joining us, by the way. I know you're going through some energy swings with your pregnancy. So Elise, how did you get here, and tell us your story? Yep, there you go.
Well, thanks for having me. I was actually invited from my sister-in-law, Sandy. I just moved here to Alabama. I was originally from California, so all my clients are in California. But anyway, Sandy invited me to an event in Georgia, luring me with Trader Joe's, because I literally lived 2 minutes from a Trader Joe's. So Sandy said, hey, let's go to Georgia, come to an event with me, and we'll stop at Trader Joe's. I'm like, okay, sure, whatever. And I went, and it literally changed my life. I mean, I didn't really have a weight problem. I had like 20 pounds to lose from babies. But other than that, I thought I was healthy. And I was really wrong because all those habits of disease I was living. So that's my story. And I became a health coach 6 months after doing the program.
Wow. Awesome stuff, guys. Well, thanks so much. Any other guests? I think pretty much everybody's face looks familiar. I know that there's only a couple folks that didn't really join in the conversation. Anything? I know it's Jeremy, Heidi, and Linda and her husband. Oh, funny! Look at that. Steve, wait a minute. Where'd you go, Steve? You just popped into it. Yeah, there you go. So Steve's parents, nice. So if you guys have anything you'd like to contribute before we sign off?
I want to hear how Heidi got pregnant after her weight loss story. I don't want to hear how she got pregnant. I know that part as far as I know.
This was, my oldest is 14, and I had lost 30 pounds just prior to that, and surprise, I then became pregnant.
I know. It gets cold up there in Minneapolis after you lose weight.
It does. So only one of the three was from that way. But with my third pregnancy, I wasn't on the program yet or anything, but I only gained about 5 pounds. So that was good.
Nice. Well, be careful as you're continuing your journey.
My husband has some stuff to take care of.
Yeah. I know Evan's feeling frisky tonight. Anyway, that moves us on, Craig, to session number 6. He said
it!
Oh my goodness.
Sandy, he just went for it.
Bail him out, Sandy. Did you have something?
Can I say one more thing before we close? I've been thinking about this all day because I listened to the leadership call this morning, and one of the gentlemen on there had said that he just felt like this program has set him free. And I heard that this morning, and I've been feeling that all day long. Woo. And then, Carrie, I have to tell you, your story is beautiful. And that just made all that come back to me tonight about how much this program it sets us all free. And I just really appreciate hearing your story. And Steve, I really appreciate all the things that you said too. So I just appreciate just being able to be a part of this. So thank you.
Thanks, Sandy.
I love it how our stories inspire other people. And I there's no medicine on the planet that's more powerful than inspiration. And so just, Sandy, Carrie, your story inspired Sandy. And I know that Carrie's story inspires me all the time. I tell it all the time. I may tell her story more than she does. I don't know. But it is one of my favorite stories. And I hear so many stories from all of you. And I love it. I love Linda's stories, how she got started, and Ann's story. And, so many stories that we have. And so those are the things of life change that we get to share with each other. And that's what I love, and why I will always be a health coach, is because I love being part of those things that are created all the time. And so that's just why I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. So we're right at our finishing time now, and so I want to thank you all for joining us. So we had a contest this week, and we'll do the same for next week for the folks that had the most guests. And so so it's Sandy and Linda both tied with one guest apiece, and so nicely done. So we're going to give you, Dave, why don't we give them 10 times what we normally give the folks for that. So just
10,100%.
Yes. So you guys will have that.
That's 4 zeros. That's 4 zeros after the decimal point. So you got to be thinking about that and just saying, thank you, God, for the blessings.
Yes, exactly. And
maybe
really,
I can share a suite at the healthy hotel in Hawaii.
Yeah, that's right.
Crave Healthy Hotel. As soon as it's finished, estimated completion date is 2011, so it should be done soon.
Yes, exactly. So for next week, folks, we have the last two chapters, which is chapter 11 and 12. And so I want to encourage you to grab that book even tonight and start your reading process now. And let's really dive in there and think about somebody else that would really be enjoy this club and being inspired. If someone needs some inspiration, you know, holidays can be a tough time for many people. Sometimes people are lonely. Well, you're not going to be lonely here, right? This is a good group of folks. And then secondly, we are preparing for our next challenge. It's going to be starting in January, and so the registration will begin on the 29th. So kind of looking forward as to what to prepare for your support moving forward once the Crave Optimal Health Series concludes, is we'll be looking for a couple of weeks, and then we'll be jumping into the next challenge. And so I want to encourage you to finish strong with this Crave series, and then, you know, of course, be looking forward towards the next challenge. Do you have any final closing words here, David?
No, the challenge is such an amazing opportunity to open up so many healthy conversations, and it's up to each and every one of us to take the time and to be bold in that. I know it's easy to talk about in this fun little Huddle Up group, but to be bold and to face the rejection of inviting people, that's the deal. And if you follow up, and sometimes it takes 6 to 12 times before somebody gets awoken, but that next opportunity for us to come together and be leaders in the health community is to invite and follow up and have healthy conversations with as many people as we can about the challenge, the coaching program, and more than anything, the health coach opportunity, which is the #1 catalyst in total life transformation, in my opinion. So with that, look forward to seeing you guys next week.
Yeah. Take care. Good night, everybody.
Hey, real quick, while Bill Young, you better put extra sunscreen on Steve Speedo spots, because I don't want him getting burned.
Awesome, guys. All right, we'll see you next week. Take care, everybody.
Bye-bye.